Wait, shh. It's too quiet.
Welcome back to Director's Choice. In today's episode of Director's Choice, we're focusing on Rick from the series Rick and Morty. Rick, whose full name is Richard Sanchez, is an amazing character we can't help but talk about due to an extraordinary role played by him in the show.
And then they got rid of it, and now it's gone. This is the only place we're gonna be able to try it. It's in my memory.
Rick, you're doing this bit while your brain is melting.
Okay, all right.
Rick and his pair character Morty are the two main characters of the animated series, who ordinarily can be seen as incompatible in the true world. But in the show, they are inseparable, and they always find a way to make things work out.
It's because losers look stuff up while the rest of us are carping all them DMs.
Listen to your sister, Morty.
Rick and Morty on Adult Swim revealed that the show consistently outperformed the direct competition in its time slot, confirming to us exactly how popular the show is. Not that we needed any proof of that. They also announced that Rick and Morty will remain a big priority above anything else in the future to keep the show growing, so fans can be assured that the show will stick around for quite some time.
I want to be alive! I am alive! Alive, I tell you! Mother, I love you! Those are no longer just words!
Now let's talk about one half of the titular characters, Rick. There are so many special things to note about this beloved but eccentric character. There are so many things about Rick that you're unaware about, especially if you're just a casual watcher of the series. Even as an avid watcher, there are bound to be things you don't know about Rick, especially regarding his character. So what's the deal with Rick? Stick around as you will find out. Let's get right into it. The show revolves around the adventures of the members of the Smith household, which is made up of parents Jerry and Beth, their children Summer and Morty, and of course, Beth's father, Richard Rick Sanchez, who lives with them as a guest. Rick is an eccentric, alcoholic, and sociopathic mad scientist who seems to know everything in the universe and thus finds life traumatizing and pointless.
I don't know, Morty. Maybe I hate myself. Maybe I think I deserve to die. I don't know.
Interestingly, just as Rick appears to be in the show as a know-it-all being who thinks he is always right, there are people like him in the real world. There are hundreds of thousands of people who are exactly like Rick. They are toxic, odd, lonely, and don't care about other people because they believe that feelings are overrated. Odds are, you probably know one or two people like that. People like this are often surrounded by morally upright, naive, and kind-hearted people, like Morty, who constantly caution them about their inhumane acts towards life, nature, or other fellow humans. The show addresses the insignificance of human existence as compared to the size of the universe, with no recognizable divine presence as described by Lovecraft's philosophy. The characters of the show deal with cosmic horror and existential dread, either by asserting the utility of science over magic or by choosing a life in ignorant bliss. Rick is described as a self-interested anarchist who doesn't like being told what to do. It's believed that the character's life on a larger scale has caused him mental illness, as he believes that nothing matters. While this may be accurate sometimes, this kind of attitude gets one nowhere, and Rick's character is evidence of that.
I gotta admit, Rick, when you popped this scheme, I wasn't sure it was gonna work.
Out of the many facets of Rick's character is his unbelief in love. Rick Sanchez is said to have been away from the family for several years before the events of the show because he frequently travels on adventures through space, visiting other planets.
The New World. Computer. How many planets in the Milky Way are at least 90% similar to Earth?
765 known planets.
Rick reveals his disdain for love in the episode Rick Potion, Episode 9, in which he claims that love is only a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. When Rick and Morty irreversibly mutate all humans on Earth, except for their family members, they abandon their original dimension, Earth, and their family for a new one. Rick locates a universe in which his alternate version has undone the damage inflicted by the love potion. This disdain for the love of his character was almost countered in the second season premiere, A Wrinkle in Time. Rick nearly sacrificed himself to save Morty, his grandson, despite his lack of feelings for other humans, but in turn saves his life when he realized that doing so is possible. This tells us that despite his large proclamations against love, he does have a tender spot for Morty and other members of his family. You might even get as far as calling it love. But don't let Rick hear that.
Yes! You, God! Not today, bitch! Please, God, if there's a help, please be merciful to me.
Also in the episode Big Trouble in Little Sanchez, Rick transfers his consciousness into a younger clone of himself called Tiny Rick, who soon becomes anguished in his own new body, then manages to return to his older form by murdering a line of other clones he had produced, which he considered to have been a waste of time and effort. It's also observed that Rick's attitude not only affects him negatively, but also affects the people close to him. Rescuing them from such mess will only lead him to more scientific adventures. This is shown in the second season finale, The Wedding Squanchers, when Rick turned himself into the Federation to allow his family to return to Earth, while he was put in a prison planet under the charges of having committed everything.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub! Ugh, I'm getting sick of this crap!
Another great mischief of his is when he tried convincing his daughter, Morty's mother, to divorce Morty's father for trying to sell him out. Despite all these acts of his character has, however, received lots of positive feedback from people. You know why? Because we all have been Rick sometimes in our lives, only that Rick has a bigger criminal record than anyone else. Although we may deny it, we sometimes find ourselves relating to Rick, even if it's just a little bit. We see a little of ourselves in him. We sometimes always want to prove people right, even when we appear wrong and uncertain.
I'm sorry to hear that, sweetie. I hope I had nothing to do with that.
As said by Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon, who co-created the show, the idea for Rick and Morty was brought up to Adult Swim, adult-oriented television cartoon network, and the idea for a family element and Rick being a grandfather to Morty were developed. Before developing Rick and Morty, he had created 3 failed animated pilots for Fox, and he had begun to feel discouraged with the project. But with the encouragement of getting another chance to develop the series, they somehow cut that time dramatically and finished the first draft in a mere 6 hours. Motivation is one intense drug, no doubt.
Yeah, that's right.
Roland initially planned to voice both characters, but Adult Swim was initially unsure of him being able to perfectly act out the voices due to the undeveloped nature of Morty's character.
Is this the first part of some kind of magic trick?
Luckily, during trial runs, they were convinced about Roiland's ability and accepted. Now hold on to your hats, because this is one thing that you didn't expect Rick to be. Crazy scientist? Sure. Inventor? Backyard tinkerer? Intergalactic traveler? Sure, you could see Rick being one of these, but rock star? Now that is one thing that we can bet you didn't expect Rick to be. But he was a rock star and a bassist.
Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat.
Oh man, okay, alright,
In the episode Get Swifty, it was revealed that while Rick was in his 20s and college, Rick, Bird Person, and Squanchy were in a rock band called The Flesh Curtains, where he played the bass guitar. Now this is something that we can see Rick doing. In the episode The Wedding Squanchers, he turned himself over to the Galactic Federation and was sent to a maximum prison for the charge of having committed everything. Makes you wonder exactly what Rick has been up to, doesn't it? Rick, being the brilliant mastermind that he is, orchestrated an escape from the prison, which was of course successful. What this tells us is that other than being a crazy scientist, Rick also has a shady past that might have involved intergalactic terrorism. Sad to say, but knowing Rick as well as we do, we can't exactly say that we're surprised. Everyone who has watched the show knows that Rick is an alcoholic, but very few people understand his substance abuse. Initially, his alcohol abuse was shown with a touch of comedy, but in the Season 1 finale episode, Ricksy Business, Bird Person claims that Rick is actually in great pain, and his catchphrase, "Wubba lubba dub dub," actually means, "I am in great pain, please help me," in Bird Person's language. He further went on to say that Rick only uses alcohol to numb himself. While we don't know for sure what causes Rick's pain, we know for a fact that his usual method of dealing with horrible events includes drinking and not thinking about it. No doubt, Rick's character is a toxic masculine archetype and tortured genius. However smart and brilliant, Rick also has his flaws just like the rest of us. Underneath the tough exterior and seemingly unbothered attitude, Rick does have a spot for the people that he truly cares about, even though he rarely shows it. His character is a complicated one, and fans love him for it. Experiencing the excitement of watching this show when first released was great, and being able to find yet more extraordinary clues about your favorite character just makes it a nostalgic experience and all. What's that thing you found loving about Rick? Is there anything you'd also like us to include in our next episode? Which character would you like us to dive into next? Please leave a comment and let us know. Take a look at this recent clip by Director's Choice, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.